The biggest change that I would say needs to happen is just more faculty and staff of color, more variety within the faculty and staff. We're so heavily, I hate to say it like this, but white in our faculty and staff. I can only think of one person that I could talk to who's of other ethnicity besides Caucasian. That's Miss Guzman. And I just feel as if that's a huge problem because say you have something that you need to talk to an adult about, but you don't feel comfortable with the counselors, who else are you going to go talk to? There's not enough support as far as people who you can feel comfortable with or people who understand the problems that we were going through.
BSM should offer maybe more like scholarships or just like opening up and showing that students of color are accepted at our school. We're not just a little rich white kid school. That just to open our arms and show that we do accept students of color.
I think vanilla could change a lot of things. First, I think we need to start with the teachers because, you always start from the head and then go down. Well, no, let's start with the administration. The administration, I think, needs to be more knowledgeable about what's going on in the classrooms and in the hallways. And this is besides race, but since we're talking about, diversity and like with race and stuff, especially with race. Obviously, there's other problems that they need to be aware of, but in this case, the focus of, I think that them understanding and talking to students of color. How do you feel, going here? Like, how has it been? Checking in on us, making sure it's okay because, yeah, it's kind of hard, and nobody asked me if I was okay, in my 6 years of going here. Nobody asked, like, being, the only person of color in your classroom, some of your classrooms, does that make you feel like, how does that make you feel? Like, are you okay? Like, what can I do to help you about, with that? I didn't have anybody do that, so they could definitely reach out to the students with administration. The teachers, I personally think there's some teachers that do a horrible job with like controlling the classroom and stuff like that. There have been times when students have, called me ghetto, talked about the way I like my hair looked and stuff like that in the classrooms in like a joking, manner and whatnot, but it's like that should not be tolerated by an adult that's in the classroom. And it's kind of like, okay, guys, quiet down, but it's not like, hey, you, like, let me talk to you. But, like, if someone else, obviously said something like, I don't know, like, oh, you're, like, I don't know, like, if someone called someone else out, like, it's like, okay, that's such a bad thing. But people referring to me as ghetto or people pointing at me or, like, saying, girl, when they're, like, talking to me or changing the way how they talk, that's not wrong, but, like, I feel like teachers maybe like they don't necessarily like see it or understand it, but they should. And so they need to become more aware. Workshops. Get us somebody, that will talk to them and help them out. And so they know how to interact with these students in the classroom. And lastly, I think that we should have a cultural competency class because a lot of and it should be required, just like we have to take health and we have to take wellness. Like, okay, you're like, and health and wellness are really like important classes, but also like having a class that's teaching me about the cultures and like the different backgrounds that I have to interact with on a daily basis. I think that's important for us to like go back and like not necessarily like a history class, but just telling us about where these people come from, the struggle. I learned so much in my immigrant literature class about different cultures that I never knew about. And that's because Vanille does a horrible job of, having us know about all these other cultures. Like, we know so much about Catholicism. We know so much about American history, but we know so little about all the massacres that's happened over, like, everywhere. Like, and we know so little about all the genocides that have happened, like, not just in Rwanda, because there's been more genocides than just in Rwanda. And I feel like we focus on the little things and we think we're doing something really big, and we're really not. Like, students are going, and these students are leaving care and they're just they don't know. And when they hit the real world, it's like, whoa, like I'm not sheltered in my little, Benilde safety zone that I was in high school. And then it hits you really hard. I think that we need to make, students prepared to go out into the real world. The thing is, schools are awesome, and like schools like this, they teach you how to learn and they teach you how to remember things and be prepared for college, but they don't teach you how to live. And it's like, if you can't live, you can't do anything. You can work all day, you can work forever, but if you never live, then your life was pointless. And so I think it'd be really cool if, like, not only did it teach us how to, like, be able to work and, like, prepared for college and all that stuff and make us really smart people, it'd be really cool if this school could also teach us how to live, and interact with people that don't look like us necessarily, because it might be uncomfortable, but like you got to do it, So I think that we need to start with the administration, teachers, and then move on to the students and require some sort of class, a cultural competency class that just talks about different cultures and what it means to be a Somali woman, what it means to be white, what it means to be black, what it means to be French, all these different ethnicities and like how we see them on a daily basis, what it means to be this, and how can we, break down stereotypes, how can we move forward, end racism, we're far from there, but if we keep taking baby steps, we're getting closer. Why can't Benilde be a part of that, So I think that's what we could do.
Awesome.
Okay, my
All right.
response was